Hey folks, Chris here from Mod Extra Games and Collectibles. Welcome to the channel. Another collector thought of the day, although I'm cheating because this is actually a second thought that I'm recording immediately after the thought I recorded yesterday and posted. So it's not a thought of the day. I had two thoughts yesterday and I've just split them up and put them into two videos, but they're kind of interconnected. so it's a bit of a cheat, but here I am. I'm on the carpet. I've been having some playtime with my man Recondo. But I was talking yesterday about the kind of the activity on the socials and throughout the community around the price of the Gamerverse, PlayStation 5, Marvel Legends, Spider-Man, and kind of what some thoughts and comments had been about that I'd seen out and about. But I'd also recently been following with some interest some developments in the area of Dungeons and Dragons. This is, after all, Mod Extra Games and Collectibles. I know that I talk a great deal about the action figures and the collectibles sides here, but I do straddle the divide and keep an active interest in board gaming and tabletop gaming. There's been some developments on that side with Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons, which is, of course, owned by Hasbro. It's a Hasbro subsidiary. And a Hasbro subsidiary that they've called out specifically in their annual report as an area that is a space for more monetization. Could be that it's being under-monetized and could be monetized more. And what's interesting here is that they've made moves to make a change to something called the Open Gaming License, which, short version, I'll put some links in the description down below to some YouTubers who know D&D and know the license and know the situation a lot better than me if you want to get the layers of it. But basically, there were these a license that would allow people to use kind of D&D mechanics and D&D elements in their creative processes. So people could create Dungeons and Dragons campaigns, or like Pathfinder is almost wholly based on the Open Gaming License and using the D&D mechanics. They wanted to replace this license, which was very popular and used heavily by many creators, to much less favourable terms. I mean, much less favourable terms. And again, I'll ask you to check out some of the links I put down below. D&D Shorts has done some great coverage on this. And their backlash from the D&D community was fierce. I mean, fierce. Reddit, Discord, the socials, your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, fierce backlash to the Open Gaming License movement that had taken place here. So much so that a movement to cancel their Dungeons and Dragons online service subscription. I don't know. There's an online Dungeons and Dragons thing that's a paid for subscription. A load of customers en masse cancelled their subscriptions. A movement to say enough is enough. Vote with our wallets. Let's cancel our subscriptions in protest for this change in the license. And you know what? It worked. Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast backed off. They started changing the story a little bit. I mean, there's some layers in there around, the spin and the kind of lying about some stuff. And, I'll let you make your own decisions up about whether you think they're backtracking and lying or whether it was truly their intent in the first place. Whatever you have your opinion on that, I'm sure, if you look into it more deeply. But the thing that was notable was that the movement to cancel the subscriptions, the hitting them where it hurts and voting with the wallet, worked. It worked, and they've gone right back to the drawing board. There's been all sorts of letters of apologies from the D&D design team and the D&D, the Wizards of the Coast executives and stuff. Letters of apology. Now, there's still some stuff leaking out about kind of Hasbro execs and their behaviour and the way they view customers and stuff, which is interesting and curious because I suspect that attitude translates to the adult collector action figure side of their business too. But it did make me wonder if they can succeed on the Dungeons and Dragons side. If that community can mobilise and vote with their wallet that way, then maybe we could, and maybe we should on the action figure side, particularly because there are people displeased about things like the Gamerverse, Marvel Legends, Spider-Man, which I talked about in yesterday's video. So I don't know what I'm saying, really. I'm certainly not the guy. I'm not big enough or famous enough or important enough or influential enough to start a grassroots campaign to vote with our wallet and stop buying action figures from Hasbro altogether. But it's food for thought, isn't it, folks? It's food for thought. And there's evidence that a movement of that nature can be successful when it comes to tackling Hasbro, which I think is curious. Isn't it curious? Do you think it's curious? Let me know in the comments down below. So yeah, there we go. That's it. That's kind of part two. The second part of my thought, that while we're all going on about price, there are some other people who've been unhappy with Hasbro, broadly speaking, lately, and they did something about it. And to all intents and purposes, they succeeded. So, yeah, let's think on that.